2014 started out like any other day for delivery driver Chanel Anderson of Atlanta, Georgia. That was until her vehicle skidded off the road and into a pond. Even though she could not exit her vehicle, she remained calm and called 911 using her cell phone as water began to fill the car. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution of December 30th recounts the incident and published the transcript of Chanel's 911 call. Chanel clearly told the 911 correspondent exactly where she was, on the corner of Fairway and Batesville Road. However, due to an outdated GPS system, the correspondent did not have these roads. During the 20 minutes it took to locate the corner of Fairway and Batesville, Chanel drowned. The 911 dispatcher did all she could to help. However, due to flaws in the 911 system, Chanel's life was lost. The whole point of calling 911 is for someone to find you quickly, to respond to an emergency. However, due to the flaws, 911 is struggling to help people, and it is time to start saving the system that is supposed to be saving us. According to the National Number Emergency Association of July 26, over 240 million calls are made to 911 each year. Simply put, 911 in its current state cannot handle the amount of calls it is receiving and is struggling to help people due to an antiquated system. According to the FCC, simply upgrading the system could save around 10,000 lives annually. It is time to first look at the scope and severity of the issues plaguing the 911 system. Then, go over why nothing is being done to help the system we rely so heavily on. And finally, propose some ways we can help revive this dying system. Now, the problem with the 911 system falls primarily into two areas: technology and staffing. I will begin with technology. According to the USA Today of July 16, 2016, when you call 911, the accuracy of them getting a fix on your location will be as accurate as 85% and as accurate as 10%. Why such a huge discrepancy? The reason is because 85 to 95% of the calls being made to 911 comes from cell phones. You see, when using a landline, the business or address line of where the billing address is from appears with the number. But when you call using a cell phone, 911 dispatchers often get the address of the cell tower and not the cell phone. To address this issue, national news correspondent Jeff Rosen visited a 911 center in Fairfax, Virginia. He called 911 from inside the actual 911 center and asked the responding dispatcher to give his address. The address? It was given more than a quarter mile away from the actual dispatch center. In fact, the Today Show of February 23, 2015 also explains that most 911 calls from your cell phone are not even routed to the nearest cell phone tower. An issue that was brought from the Omaha World-Herald of February 21, 2016 gives us the example of Mr. John Edwards. John Edwards called 911 to explain that he had been shot. But because he called from a cell phone and did not know his location or address, during the 40 minutes it took to locate him, he bled to death. To make matters worse, the Omaha World-Herald also explains that most 911 dispatch centers are not equipped to receive video or text messaging. But technology isn't the only issue here. Staffing is also a major issue. In fact, did you know that most 911 dispatchers are understaffed? In fact, Firefighter Call's website explains that when you call 911, callers are often put on hold or receive an automated voice message explaining that someone will be with you shortly. In fact, most people who do receive a caller are often transferred, and people who need help the most often must repeat information 2 or 3 times before getting the help. People's lives are literally on the line when they listen to automated messages such as this. You have reached the Cincinnati Emergency Response System. Unfortunately, we are receiving a high volume of emergency calls. Someone will be with you shortly. In fact, most 911 dispatch workers often have to work overtime. And get this, in the city of Chicago alone, 10 dispatchers earned over $100,000 each in overtime pay, notes the Chicago Sun-Times of July 26. This makes no sense. Now that we understand why the 911 system is in such bad standings, we will now go over why nothing is being done to help this system. First, we will go over funding. Now, 911 system is a life and death service in which you would think would be at the top in terms of a budget list in terms of importance, but you'd be wrong. In fact, most of the funding for 911 comes from people like us, me and you who own a cell phone. At the end of our monthly bill is either a 911 fee or state tax fee that goes directly into funding 911 services. However, 20 states, including ones like Chicago, Illinois, New York, Virginia, Washington, and California, divert some of these funds into other areas. In fact, Homeland Security and Emergency Services of February 1st, 2016 gives us the example of New York City. New York diverted just over $77 million from the 911 systems into other areas, which could literally mean anything. But funding is not only an issue. Have you ever wondered why apps such as Uber or Facebook can pinpoint your location exactly, but 911 can't? In fact, Uber can literally find your exact location, and I can check in on Facebook almost anywhere, including the front of this building. R.V. White, the head director of 911 services, tells ABC News exactly why this is on May 18, 2016. Now, when you use an app such as Uber or Facebook or even Domino's Pizza, we are giving that company permission to use our location and address for their businesses. However, people do not want city officials to have that same data. R.V. White explains that people are afraid to be tracked by the government, and for good reason. Not only that, the previously explained ABC News also tells us that most wireless companies do not want to agree to the upgrades due to the cost. The technology is there, but 911 simply does not have the funding necessary to do it. So now we know why nothing is being done to help this system. We will now go over some ways we can help revive and maybe bring forth a life to this new dead system. Now, solutions come in both a national and personal level. In fact, most of the time, historically, supporting our nation's 6,000 911 centers has always been a local affair. In fact, there are no federal revenue or annual federal revenue sources, but there are two things we can help upgrade their cost and safety in the process. First, we need to end fee diversion, which is transferring funds necessary for the 911 services into other areas. Next, tucked into a law known as the Job Creation Act of 2012 and the Middle Class Tax Relief is a way to help kickstart 911 modernization. The problem with modernizing it is having it literally reflect the digital age we are currently living in. So, what they decided to do was they opened up a bunch of wireless spectrum auctions in Washington. These auctions, which are still ongoing today, have raised huge sums. A portion of these funds, $115 million to be precise, was set aside by Congress in order to kickstart 911 modernization. But after 4 years of its creation, it still has not been kickstarted. It is vital we contact our state representatives and urge them to support modernization 911 systems by supporting House Bill 1211. Next, in order to help make yourself safe and others around you, Google the search term Smart 911. What this is a smart term used to put your information into the 911 databases so that when you call, they get a better fix on your location. Next, when you do call 911, be sure to give an exact location and if possible, use a landline. And finally, do not forget that 311 is a non-emergency number for you to call during non-life-threatening situations. So today we went over the scope and severity of the issues plaguing the 911 system. Next, went over why nothing is being done to help the system we rely so heavily on. And finally, proposed some ways to help revive this dying system. Chanel's life was lost all due to an outdated GPS system. Her mother comments, "That's the whole point of calling 911, finding you quickly, but when it matters, when your life is on the line, they can't find you." That is absurd, and I agree. The technology is there, the funding is there. It is now up to us to do a little life saving of our own. Because after all, the next life you save may just be your own.